Hello and welcome to Steve's Vintage Model Builds. Well, it's been a while since I did a video. It's been busy times here. Of course, we've entered fall time now. Autumn started the other day. And I was busy bringing in the last of the corn, tearing out and digging out the stalks and getting those ready for removal and, general end of season garden cleanup. Strawberries are still going in the greenhouse, and some of the peppers, and we've got some of the beans still coming in, but except for some potatoes and a few tomatoes, everything's pretty much done, which is okay. I like to get it cleaned up at the end of the year. Don't only like to have stuff hanging around. So we also kicked off the other day British Columbia provincial election here in my home province, and it's and I'm involved with one of the local candidates here doing some volunteer work and so forth. So I've been busy with that. And all sorts of other stuff going on. Just life gets in the way of fun so much. But anyway, so today we got a review of a new kit that came in. And I'm actually going to show another kit, just a real quick thing. So we'll get to this in a minute. I wanted to mention, I did the video on this, I don't know, a week or two ago. A nice kit, really nice. And they included a nice little package of stuff. But they included this. This was from the vendor. And it's from Essex. They're in the Ukraine. And, I thought that was kind of cool. A nice little, you're going to put in a business card, so that's fine. And then you also get a little ruler thing, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, I'm so impressed with Ukraine. These guys are unbelievable, and the girls. Okay, next up. Spoiler alert for purists. Okay, you're gonna have to indulge me here a little bit. I saw this on a good deal, so I got it. Okay, don't hate me, alright? It's a Revell snap-together Mac fire pumper kit. And, I mean, it is what it is. I think it was $22 or something, okay? So, but it's 132 scale, same as the Mac truck, which wasn't 100% snap-together. But it almost could have been. It was very well engineered. So anyways, the decals are stickers, and it is what it is. But I think it'll clean up nice, and it'll look great on the shelf when I put it there. And if there's any young people out there, or older people who don't know much about the hobby or whatever, and looking to get a younger person involved, this would be a great kit to start. It is a snap tight kit, but you've got lots of clear parts, you've got lots of nice chrome parts, and tires and so on and so forth. So, and lots of opportunities to decorate, or you could just snap it together and put it on the shelf, depending on how old you are, and so on and so forth. But yeah, it sure would be a simple starter for anybody who might be interested. They say 8 and up, level 2, yeah, what is it, what do they say here? 60 parts, yeah. There's an option. You can have the gun. You can have the gun at the top, or you can do something else. So yeah, a bit of fun. Rainy afternoon stuff. Don't have to worry too much if you mess up the paint. Oh, one other thing here. this. I got it from Amazon, and it came from you know where. Anyways, it's cool. It's got a set of 3 lights there and little stuff inside. The problem is they listed it as 132 scale. To give you an idea. Oh, sorry. They advertised it as 124 scale. And you'd have trouble parking a car. This is a 124 scale car. You'd have trouble parking that inside. And maybe if you're way up here, no. No, it's not going to go. So there's that. So I'm going to keep it. I'm not going to send it back. But just because something like this, with model kits, well, we all know, even with the model kits, one company's 172 is very different from another company's 172, or any, whatever it is. But this looks like it might be more like 135 or somewhere in between there, maybe 140. I don't know. The little Jeep would fit on there, the Tamiya Jeep. Yeah, so just, yeah, beware of that. Just because it says 124 doesn't mean it is 124. And it is easy to, it's easier with, things like airplanes and stuff. But when it's a garage like that, it's hard to tell. So just be very careful. Okay, so now on to the star of the show here. And we've got the Atlantis B-25 Mitchell World War II bomber. It's Atlantis kit number H, as in Hotel 216. This is originally a Revell kit, first tooled, and as far as I could tell, not updated except for decals, in 1954. So this goes back to, again, one of the oldest vintage kits we've got. Atlantis does a lot of reboxing of, old Revell stuff as well as others. And they're usually a good value. So, and they have this really awesome the swivel display base, which has, like, it's a ball and socket, so you can oops. Here we go with Dauntless Dottie. Yeah, you can swivel that all different directions, whatever you want. Okay, so let's take a look here and just get this off. Get rid of the glare. There we go. So yeah, this came in from a company I've ordered from before. They're down in Charleston, Illinois. Anyways, yeah, good company. I've ordered a few kits from them. Price is good. They do their shipping by DHL, which is different from DHL in overseas. I understand in Europe and the UK, DHL has the reputation for what is it? Delay something, lose. Anyways, But anyways, this arrived fine. It was packed in a nice box. This box is absolutely perfect, no problems whatsoever with it. There's nice box art. You can tell, it's pretty old. It doesn't appear to be signed. And they indicate 2 movable guns on 2 rotating turrets. That's one here, one in the belly. Pilot and co-pilot figures with a nose gunner. So there's 3 figures altogether. Detailed landing gear, movable propellers, decal sheet, flying dragon, or the Doolittle Raider, and the clear swivel display stand. And they say artwork suitable for framing. I guess you could. And on the side here, they give you a close-up of the completed model, along with the decal set. They have for both versions, as they indicate. Here's another of the completed model. And on the bottom, on the swivel stand. So, this is a 1/64 scale kit. So, obviously between 148 and 172. 10 inches long, wingspan 12 3/4 inches, 55 parts, molded in olive drab with water slide decals. They give you a paint guide, just a generic black, flesh, light gray, red, silver, yellow. And there's a brief write-up here. North American Mitchell bomber had a wingspan of 67.7 feet. 67 feet 7 inches. Fuselage length was 52 feet 11 inches. Normally during World War II, this version of the B-25 carried 4 50 caliber machine guns in 2 revolving turrets and 1 in the nose. The aircraft flown in the famous Doolittle raid had their lower turrets removed. General James Doolittle, whose B-25 led a squadron of 25 other B-25s on the first devastating U.S. raid on Tokyo, launched from the USS Hornet aircraft carrier on April 18, 1942. The crew consisted of 5 airmen. This kit can be built for either version, optional parts and decals for a B-25 Flying Dragon or Doolittle Raider. 2 interesting connections. The USS Hornet aircraft carrier was the aircraft carrier that recovered the Apollo 11 crew capsule when they returned to Earth after splashdown, and also North American Aviation, who, along with many other aircraft, also designed the P-51 Mustang. North American Aviation also designed the LEM, the Apollo 13 lunar excursion module. So, North American Aviation, they've been around for a long time. And so, y'all know what comes next. Here we go. Okay, so a little bit about the Mitchell, beyond what they said. I mean, anybody familiar with our hobby, I'm sure, knows about the B-25, the Doolittle raid on Tokyo, when obviously they lightened up the aircraft. They loaded them up with as much fuel and bombs as they could, and they sent them off the Hornet and flew them over Tokyo in 1942 to bomb Tokyo for the first time. Obviously, that was a huge shock to the Japanese, and the raid was greatly celebrated. It was very costly, though. They knew at the outset that they would not have time to return to the aircraft task force, aircraft carrier task force. The best that they hoped for was to be able to continue on from Japan and ditch in China, in an area where the Japanese hadn't occupied. So the Free Chinese Forces. That worked out for some. It didn't for others, and some became Japanese prisoners of war, and others were rescued and eventually made it back through through the Free Chinese Forces. So the aircraft's named after Brigadier General William Billy Mitchell, who was a pioneer in U.S. military aviation, and he was also instrumental in forming the United States Air Force. Many Allied forces used the B-25 and it served in every theater during World War II. And after the war ended, many remained in service with various air forces and continued operating until the final one was retired by the Indonesian Air Force in 1979. It was the most produced American medium bomber and the third most produced American bomber overall. There were several limited models that included a reconnaissance aircraft, a couple of trainers, and also a Marine Corps patrol bomber. It was first proposed in March 1939 after the U.S. Army Air Corps issued specification for a medium bomber. At that point in time, the writing was on the wall that there were going to be confrontations with Japan in the Far East, and they were looking for larger bombers and medium weight, medium size, medium range bombers. They asked for a 2,400-pound payload and a 1,200-mile range at 300 miles per hour. The initial wing design was, the first 9 aircraft they manufactured for test purposes had a constant dihedral, meaning the wing from the fuselage out, the wings went up at a steady angle. But this was found to be quite caused a lot of instability. So what they did was the dihedral went here between the fuselage and the engine nacelles, and then the wings flattened out to give it the gull-winged effect. And of course, we know the Corsair had one of the most prominent gull-wing designs. Obviously for the same reasons. Excuse me, much more stability. And so, obviously the Corsair needed to be maneuverable, needed to be stable in climbs and dives, and so on and so forth. So most aircraft were ended up being the dihedral design as things moved along, or the gull-wing dihedral design. Overall, it was an excellent aircraft once all those initial things were ironed out. It was considered safe and a forgiving aircraft. With one engine out, 60-degree banking turns into the dead engine were still possible, and the aircraft could be controlled to as low a speed as 145 miles per hour. The only complaint they had was the engines were noisy, and a lot of pilots ended up suffering from hearing loss as a result. The reason for that was they had to cram a lot in to make it a medium bomber, and so there were design and space restrictions in the engine cowlings, and so the exhaust stacks protruded directly into the cowling ring, and yeah, anyways, so basically the exhaust was blowing out right in their ears pretty much, things. So anyways, it was extremely durable, and there's a story about B-25C from the 321st Bomb Group that was nicknamed Patches because its crew chief painted all the aircraft's flak hole patches with bright yellow zinc chromate primer. By the end of the war, this aircraft had completed over 300 missions, had been belly landed 6 times, and had over 400 patched holes. The airframe and patches was so distorted from battle damage that straight and level flight required 8 degrees of left aileron trim and 6 degrees of light rudder, causing the aircraft to crab sideways across the sky. So yeah, she would have been a bit of a beast to control. After all that, you'd think they would have taken her out of service, but maybe her crew said, "No way, we ain't taking no other aircraft." So, anyways, so that's pretty much the story of the B-25. A great aircraft, lasted, you know, as we heard, lasted for decades after, and so again, more testament to the unbelievable aeronautical engineering that was done back in the 1930s and the 1940s. It's sure is a contrast to what goes on in aviation today. That's all I'm going to say. Oh, and yeah, I should say this kit, I think it was about $35, including shipping. And oh, we have a much larger box than what we need. Okay, so here's the stand. This is always really nice. It's got a map of the world on it, and you put it together. And we've got instructions, decals on the bottom here. Since they're out, we'll take a look at these first. The Atlantis decals I've dealt with have been good. The Nike missile was Atlantis, and I've done a couple other things that are Atlantis, and yeah, their decals are just fine. And so you've got a decal for the stand, which is very nice. Obviously, nice stars. 2 different ID numbers, and 2 different star configurations. And yeah, so they're very nice. They might be a little thicker than some people like, but you know, I'm okay with the Tamiya. Decals, whereas some others think they're too thick. No one who uses them probably watches my channel, but yeah, I wouldn't touch the Edwards with a 10-foot pole, the new Edwards. Peter Oxley's had a terrible time with those, and he even did a couple shows on it. So, okay, so we got this piece loose, and this is just the ball for the stand, so there's nothing wrong there. And here we have, let's get this out of the way, see which is better here. And these clear parts are perfect. They're beautiful. Got nice panel lines. They're going to be easy to mask up or whatever. Well, what's that? That's another. Looks like there might be a boo-boo here, but that's okay. We'll do her battle damaged. Maybe we'll make her patches. Okay, here we go. Okay, and so you know, with the Atlantis, obviously 1954. Okay, and yeah, Atlantis kits are they're good. You know, don't be expecting too much. But if you want, you know, if you want a nice little model kit to put together, and of course, you know, most of it goes into the decorating, as far as I'm concerned, anyways. Some people like complex assemblies. I don't mind, but you know, most of it for me, such as it is. Okay, I am seeing a fair little bit of flash here. There's flash here on this antenna. There's flash here. It's going to have to be cleaned up. Otherwise, the panel markings look good, and these will be for the propellers. Landing gear, one of the landing gear doors. Here we got the other side of the fuselage and one of the other pieces of the wing. We've got the pilot and co-pilot tub here. No detail really. These are the wing tips. Not sure what this cone is for, unless it's at the, no, it's not at the back. Anyways, that will be seen. And here we have our figures. They're pre-molded into their seats, and the gunner here has the guns. The hands are already on the yokes. Got a cowling here, a nacelle, and this will be for if you want to replace the this is for one of the turret things. And here we got the tail, and we got one of the rudders, vertical stabilizer, wheel. Oh, this will be for the engine covers. That's what it's for. This piece is broken off, but it doesn't look to be damaged. There is a little bit of flash. And again, we get the other nacelle, wing, and the two engine cowlings. Nothing special with the engine cowlings. The figures already being in the seats, yeah, I don't mind that. By the time you get everything together and so forth, you can't really see that anyways. So, you know, just to paint them up, to give them some contrast, that suits me. Okay, now we'll take a look at these instructions. Okay, and so again, we get a black and white photo of the completed model on its stand. They give you a couple extra paint colors on the inside here, including the zinc chrome, flat gray, flat brown. And yeah, I mean, Atlantis instructions they're simple enough, pretty straightforward. Decal application or decal application, and read this before you begin. Study the instructions, etc. They give you your legend here. Repeat 2 times, 4 times. When to apply decals. Optional. Alternative assembly. Remove and throw away. Which you know we never do. We keep them in the spare bits box, right? Okay. Alright, so here we start off with the deck, turrets, and gunner assembly. And they give you your paint as you go here, pretty much. They say for the pilot, see paint note. In the illustration, they had kind of orangey suits, but I think they were probably closer to brown. But for the Doolittle mission, they might have been orange, so they could easily be spotted in the ocean, whatever. Okay, and so yeah, so they're all set, they're ready to go, and they just go into the flight deck, so that's very simple assembly. You've got the top turret blister, and the gun goes in there. Doesn't look like there's a figure there. And then the tub and the lower turret assembly goes in. Yeah, this is for the lower turret. Yeah. And if you don't want that, there's a separate cover piece. If you're going to do the Doolittle one, I think I'm going to do patches. I can't find, you know, maybe I'll call it something else. I've got a few other names, but maybe I'll do it all patched up and everything. That might be fun. And heaven forbid, maybe I could try to hand paint patches on this side. Huh. Okay, and so yeah, so you know, this is basic stuff. It's you know, it's a weekender kind of thing. For some people, maybe just a one day, or you know, by the time you prime and do everything and get it all done. And so then we've got the nose gunner, who is a whole person, which is nice. Sometimes they only give you half a person, and that's one big honking gun. And yeah, and so then this goes in the flight deck, goes in the nose. Oh, there is a separate nose gun. That's why. That's what that hole is for. It's not battle damage, so it's a separate nose gun. I guess that's like an auto gun or something. Maybe had a tow switch or something. And then here is for the yeah, omit the lower turret assembly if you're going to do the, yeah, etc., etc. So, I don't know if maybe they took those off for weight, or maybe even more likely for clearance because of the aircraft carrier. Yeah, probably because they would need their hooks. Yeah, it would interfere with the hooks. Okay, and so you know, then we put our wheels together, put the engines together, nacelles, main gear, wings. Nothing really different or special here. I like it when they put the wing tips separately, because I found they tend to hold together better. You know, you can clamp this part down and then put the tips on, and maybe with a bit of trim or sand, you're good to go. And yeah, so then we've got the nose cones, and then we do the right wing assembly. Da da da. Final assembly, clear parts go on, landing your doors if they're, you know, up or down, whatever you want to do. Then you've got the vertical stabilizers and rudders, and the horizontal tailplane stabilizer, and then it just all goes together into the slots. Of course, the proof will be in the pudding how the fit goes here. That can be problematic in some of these older kits, but we'll take a look and see. Okay. All right. So before moving on to the rating, just a quick little update on the Lotus. Oh my goodness, that little nose cone just gave me grief with the paint. Anyways, I've managed to salvage it the best I can, and I was a little discouraged, so I set it aside for a while. But I'll be back on it again. It's nearly ready to go. And so yeah, so that's coming along nicely, and so yeah, just wanted to bring you up to date on that. And so here we go now. I use a 10 points system. Well, it's 12 points actually, but 10 standard points, 2 points for packaging, up to 2 points for the sprues, up to 3 points for the parts, and up to 3 points for the instructions. Each of those categories can also get a quarter point bonus for any wow factors. You know, something you expect that's something unexpected, or pleasant surprise, whatever the case may be. And then I also allow up to 1 full point for what I call value, and that would be, you know, not just is it a cheap kit, but you know, how much entertainment are you going to get out of it? You know, for a modeler like me, I like to take my time. I'm in no big hurry. I'll paint something like this, maybe 6 hours, 6-8 hours. Like I said, kind of a weekender thing. You know, $35. That's pretty good value to me. Okay, so for packaging, nice box art, good box, not damaged, done in cellophane. We've got artwork all over the place of completed models. So that's full 2 points plus a quarter bonus. That deserves a quarter point. For the sprues, 1.75. I'm going to take a combined quarter point off because of that bit of flash. And yeah. And then for the parts, out of 3 points, 2.75. The quality of plastic was okay. It was fine. I haven't had any problems with any of the Atlantis kits. And there weren't any warped or broken parts, but there were a couple broken off the sprue, so I'd take a quarter point off for that. Detail was adequate, satisfactory. The instructions, 3 out of 3. It wasn't extensive, but they had general service and history notes. They were clear, and they were laid out nicely. And so, yeah, nothing to complain about there. And okay, and so yeah, I'm going to give it a half a bonus point. So that takes us to 10 and a quarter, which is, you know, pretty respectable to me for a kit that was tooled in 1954. They've done a good job updating it, and everything looks to be in pretty good shape. So the only other thing I was going to talk about a little bit before I go, if you haven't already shut me down, is you know, scales. I don't know where they get these weird scales. You know, I mean, the Nike missile was a 140 scale. This one's 164. I mean, it's not that these are unheard of, but gotta wonder why there were. You know, obviously 172 is so logical. I mean, one foot equals 6 feet. And likewise with the railway scales, of course, you know. But in any case, yeah, so just kind of weird that there's so many different sizes and scales, and especially contemporary model kits, you know, from the same period of time. But I guess everybody did what they thought was best for them, and you know, there you go. So one last thing about this: made in the USA. Made in the USA. Yes, indeed. And so we always like to see that. And this was actually copyrighted 2023. So you know, newly produced box. Everything's great. All right, so we're coming up to 40 minutes here, and so thanks for joining me. Hope everybody's enjoyed it today. Thinking back on it, I think it was a pretty smooth show. Yeah. So always welcome comments. If I've gotten anything wrong, feel free to inform me, advise me, correct me. Please just be respectful. And remember, too, that young people might be watching this channel. I can only wish. And they get exposed to enough junk. They don't need, they need us to be grown-ups. Yeah. Okay, so thanks for joining me. Hope everybody's well. And we'll be seeing you soon. Oh, I've got the U2 coming up. The TR1 coming up. And I hope to do as good a job on that video as I've done on this one today. All right, so thanks again, and we'll be seeing you. Bye now.